Next on Worcester News Tonight, back on the field. A look at the ruling allowing a high school football player to join his team and play in tonight's games. Plus, helping spread the word in Worcester about suicide prevention. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Madison. A busy night of high school football across the region. And for one player, he is playing tonight for the first time this season after winning a court battle against the MIAA. Running back Kevin Mensah, number 3 right there on the screen, playing tonight for Shepherd Hill versus Wachusett. Mensah receiving a big cheer from the Shepherd Hill crowd when he went on the field. We spoke with his coach before the game, who said he is happy to have Mensah on the team, adding he urged him not to get discouraged while waiting for the court's ruling.
As a man or as a person in general, you're gonna be tested throughout your life, and this is just one test, and that everything's gonna work out for a reason. So just hang in there, and we'll just do the best we can.
Mensah was in court yesterday for a hearing to get an injunction issued to allow him to play tonight. Now, Mensah transferred to Shepherd Hill from Holy Name over the summer, but there was an issue with his transfer form which caused the eligibility issue. Alicia Palumbo has a look at the court ruling.
You're playing, I just started screaming.
Shepherd Hill senior Kevin Mensah is thrilled to be able to suit up and take the field in Friday night's game against Wachusett after winning a battle in Superior Court against the MIAA that had kept him sidelined for the first 2 games of the season.
I called my mom. She was happy. She almost cried, but I told her not to cry.
Mensah transferred to Shepherd Hill through school choice from Holy Name this summer because his mom could no longer afford the private school. After initially refusing, Holy Name eventually signed off on his eligibility form, but the MIAA still refused to allow Mensah to play, saying it could set a precedent of putting athletics over academics.
If you allow school choice and students to transfer for your athletic purposes, you are effectively creating a free agency process.
In the meantime, Mensah missed the first 2 games of the season, meaning the Division I college prospect had no film to send to schools that could possibly give him a full scholarship.
Kevin's asked me a number of times, what have I done wrong? And I don't, as an adult, I don't have an answer for him.
Mensah's coach, Chris LINDSTROM, sat out the first game in solidarity.
Sometimes in life you have to take a stand for something if you think it's right, and regardless of the consequences, and I think I made that point.
This week, Kevin brought his fight to Worcester Superior Court, where late Friday a judge ruled he is eligible to play.
It's been a lesson, just like, if you're having a bad time or anything hard, just never give up, because there's always going to be something good at the end.
Now, Kevin Mensah's fight is not over. The MIAA still has a hearing scheduled for Thursday to determine his eligibility to play going forward. We reached out to the MIAA and its attorneys, and we have not heard back from them. In Dudley, Massachusetts, Alicia Palumbo, Worcester News Tonight.
Mensah's hearing is scheduled for Thursday in Franklin. He played tonight against Wachusett, the first game of the season for Kevin Mensah, playing at running back and also on defense. Well, 4 Massachusetts gun shops filing a lawsuit against Attorney General Maura Healey in response to her crackdown on copycat assault weapons. One of those shops is Pullman Arms here in Worcester. The lawsuit states her office overstepped its legal authority and deprived retailers of their due process protections guaranteed under the U.S. Constitution. The action seeks declaratory relief and a permanent injunction enjoining enforcement. The National Shooting Sports Foundation, a nonprofit based in Connecticut, joined the 4 shops in the lawsuit. The president of the NSSF says the AG's actions were unconstitutional. A Spencer man charged in U.S. District Court Thursday accused of viewing child pornography on Postal Service computers. U.S. Attorney's Office says 62-year-old Stephen Mensah was working at the Shrewsbury Processing and Distribution Center when investigators were alerted to suspicious activity on his computer. Investigators say Mensah was using the computer to search for and view images of child pornography on the internet. Authorities recovered at least 3 thumb drives with images of child pornography from Mensah. He was arrested Wednesday and is scheduled for a detention hearing next week. In Leicester, a truck struck an overhang at this medical facility. It happened on Huntoon Memorial Highway this afternoon. No one was hurt. A big part of World War II history on display in Worcester this weekend. Several World War II fighter planes landed at Worcester's regional airport today. They're here as part of the Wings of Freedom tour, courtesy of the Collins Foundation. The exhibit drawing a large crowd of war veterans to the airport. The foundation hopes displaying these historical planes can remind future generations about our country's history.
To engage people in history, then experiencing history with wings. And this is exactly what the Wings of Freedom tour is. Think of it as kind of a interactive flying memorial for our World War II veterans.
To see all of these aircraft in one spot, and for me to be able to approach 90 and see them is indeed historic. And I'm happy and honored to be here.
The tour will be at the Worcester Regional Airport all this weekend. More than 100 sixth graders back home early from a class trip tonight after bed bugs at a Charlton facility cut the trip short. The group from Litchfield Middle School traveled to Nature's Classroom Tuesday to start their fall field trip. And they were scheduled to return home today, but plans changed yesterday when a student discovered some suspicious bites on his arm. A canine then discovered bed bugs in 6 rooms. The facility has since heat-treated all identified rooms and luggage. Hyundai Hope on Wheels awards a $250,000 grant to an assistant professor at UMass Medical School to improve treatment options for pediatric cancer. Our Rosalind Flaherty reports.
Not only did the work that goes on here at this institution save my life, but it also enabled me to bring new life into this world.
Kenny LaFerriere was diagnosed with liver cancer as a child. 24 years later, the father of 2 is cancer-free. Friday, he watches his son place his handprint on a car to help end childhood cancer.
Ready?
As a child, doctors found a tumor on LaFerriere's liver. It required chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery to remove it. But getting rid of the cancer wasn't the end of his health issues.
Approximately 8 years after that, I experienced heart failure due to the toxicity of the adriamycin chemotherapy drugs.
LaFerriere underwent a heart transplant and is proud to say he is a survivor.
I'm not only a 24-year cancer survivor, but I'm also a 15-year heart transplant survivor as well.
Hyundai Hope on Wheels presented assistant professor at UMass Medical School, Wen Zhu, a $250,000 scholar grant. It will be used to improve care and increase treatment options for kids with cancer, specifically liver tumors.
We want to fill the gap of finding safer and more effective drugs to help kids with childhood liver tumors.
Zhu hopes to lessen the negative effects that chemotherapy can have on patients.
To help the patients who do not respond to the current standard of care, or make them less susceptible to the side effect of chemotherapy.
LaFerriere says this grant is going to help research and find ways of fighting cancer.
I'm just one of those examples, and I'm proud and looking forward to having more examples like that of other children and families to be able to get back to their lives and enjoy what life's all about.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
An event this weekend in the city is hoping to raise awareness about suicide prevention. This is the second year the Songs for Hope benefit will be held at Michael's Cigar Bar in Worcester. As our Olivia Lemon shows us, organizers say the goal of the event is to eliminate the negative stigma around the word suicide.
I wanted people to actually address the subject. I feel like it needs to be addressed and you shouldn't be ashamed about it.
Ricky Duran is learning to come to terms with the word suicide. The singer says he lost his father 4 years ago and a close friend 1 year ago, both to suicide.
Honestly, I didn't really tell many people why he passed or how he passed away.
Now Duran says he's using his loss to help other people cope. This is the second year Duran and his girlfriend Brianna Duffy are hosting a benefit called Songs for Hope. The event is this Sunday at Michael's Cigar Bar in Worcester. Duran says the day will include live performances, food, drinks, and raffles.
The point of the event is to create awareness, not necessarily a sad event, but to come, to celebrate, to acknowledge.
September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. According to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States.
It's touching a lot of people, but we're not talking about it. So it's really important that we start being brave.
Nicole Mercier is a field advocate for the AFSP. She says more than 40,000 Americans die by suicide every year. Mercier encourages everyone to attend the Songs for Hope benefit. She says although suicide may be a sad subject, this is an uplifting event.
Laughter and music and community, I think it's going to be spot on.
I just want people to come down and reflect on, you know, suicide, but also just have a good time. It brings everybody together so we can all like heal.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
The Songs for Hope event is this Sunday at Michael's Cigar Bar from 1 to 4 p.m. Tickets can be purchased in advance for $10 or $20 at the door. All proceeds will be donated to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention.